What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new up in this place, my name is Ntwanano, and if you're coming back, thank you so much for clicking on this video. So basically, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to this channel. Thank you to everyone who has shared, like people who share your content, people who let other people know that there is this type of content on YouTube. I just want to thank you guys so much. And to all my new subscribers, people who have just recently checked out my channel, I've been getting a lot of reviews online, a lot of text messages saying, hey, I just found out your channel. It's so helpful. Thank you so much. We have hit 1,000 subscribers. Wow, I cannot believe it. But I'm grateful. More than anything, I'm grateful. I'm also grateful for my new LinkedIn family, everybody who's been connecting with me. If you're watching this video, shout out to you. And yeah, man, I think without any further ado, guys, let me get onto this video. The reason why I'm recording this video today is because there's a story that I want to tell, and it's a story that I've been through. It's something that I went through, although for me the outcome was slightly different, but for other people that I know who also went through the same route, who went through the same thing, it turned out a bit different. So I was on my socials this one time, and someone I know texted me and said, hey, I'm in a problem, I need help. So this person was in CTA, right? And they were doing it full time at a residential university, and come the end of the year, they unfortunately failed the year. They failed CTA. So the thing about failing CTA is you have like this preconceived idea in your mind that after this year it's done. After this year, I'm finally free to live the kind of life that I want to live. I'm finally free to do what I want to do, right? So when results come out and actually you find out that all of that hope, all of that dream was just a dream, that it didn't happen at the time that you wanted it to happen, you sort of get discouraged and you sort of get let down so much. You get so disappointed in yourself, and you start thinking things like, I cannot do this anymore, I cannot repeat, I cannot. So they went through that, and they decided, you know what, I'm gonna pack up and I'm not coming back to this university. I'm gonna apply somewhere else, and I'm gonna do the CTA thing part-time, right? Now they did this CTA thing. They now are currently doing it part-time and has started articles on the side. So I'm sharing this with you not to sort of discourage studying and working, but I want to share this with you guys so you guys have information, right? When if ever you are faced with this type of decision. When I remember when I failed my CTA, I was also one of those people who decided, or who had already decided in my mind, that if I fail this, I'm not coming back to tax. Like this is it. If I fail it, I'm just gonna go work and I'm gonna do this thing part-time, because I've done it once. I know the content, I know what they want. I can definitely do it while I'm working. And look, I failed, and when I was faced with that decision of whether I'm staying at tax or I'm going, I was so caught in between. Like, I was so torn apart that I didn't know what to do. So I went home, and I sort of had applied to UNISA to go and redo the honors. So UNISA accepted me, and then at the beginning of the following year, they wanted me to come and register. I didn't go actually register. So I had a friend, and we every day were talking about it, like, dude, are we going back? Are we really going back to do this again? or are we jumping ship and starting with our articles and moving on with our lives? We're going to see this thing part-time. Now, fortunately for me, I had parents who I could talk to about it. My parents have no idea what accounting is, no idea what I do on a daily basis, but they listen. Okay, so we spoke about it, and they were like, "We will support you in everything and anything that you want to do. If you want to jump ship and go do accounting, I do your CTA at UNISA while you work. It's fine. If you want to go back and do it full time, it's also fine." So I took time, and I didn't, for the longest time, I also didn't know what to do. And I took time, and I think I registered a tax the day, the exact same day registration closed, because that's how unsure I was of whether I want to go back or I want to move on. So luckily for me, I ended up registering a tax, and I ended up going back full time, right? For other people, it's completely different. And let me state this at the beginning, that I'm not talking about someone who has financial issues, someone who has different circumstances where they actually need to work and study at the same time. That's a whole completely different story. I'm talking about people who have the choice whether to study full time or whether they can do it part time. I'm talking about somebody who has a choice, somebody who has not, like, you're not tied up in a financial situation that if you don't work you can't study, you know what I mean? So I just want to say that you guys need to be mindful. Anyone who's faced with this decision, whether they want to live, whether they want to continue at a traditional university or they want to go study part-time, you need to think about this really well. A lot of us fall into the trap that we want to get out of the schooling system as soon as possible and start working. A lot of us have this preconceived idea that when I start working, things will get better. Listen, things will not get better if you're still studying and working. If you have the opportunity to finish your studies full time, guys, please do finish it full time. Listen, it's not easy to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, to shower, go to work, come back at 8 p.m. and still have to open IFRS 16. It is not fun. So if you have a choice, if you have a decision, like, we fall into the trap of making life-changing decisions based on emotion because of failure, based on anger, based on disappointment. Like, you need to really think about this, and you need to take time. When you've now realized that you failed this year, you need to take time and reflect. Think about, what is it that you did wrong? Listen, if you're failing this year and you're already studying full time, what are your chances of making it out of this thing when you're studying part-time and you're working? I think we underestimate the pressure of work. I think we think, as long as I can get out there, as long as I can start working and start earning a salary, things will be better. The thing about working is it takes away your time. It takes away your time from studying, and you need to push harder and harder for you to be able to make 2 hours of study every day just because you're working. So if you have the opportunity, guys, to sort of continue to finish this degree, continue to finish this CTA year without having to face studying on the side, then please do that. So that's just what I wanted to say honestly today. It really broke my heart, the story of this person. They made this decision out of anger, out of disappointment, out of, you know, the pressure that I need to start working. Other people are moving forward, other people are starting their articles, other people are buying their first cars. Listen, your time will come, and when that time comes, everything will be in place. You would have done your studies, you would have gone forth with your training contract. Like, don't feel pressured to start working just because your peers are doing it. I know people who have left CTA and started working just because their peers have now passed and are now working. But you don't see the trap that you're falling into, the trap of having to study and work at the same time. It's a very difficult thing to do. I didn't do it, fortunately enough. I went back and I still studied full time, and that gave me the whole day, every day, to focus on my CTA, because CTA is so, it's so difficult. I think we've already established that on this channel. You guys know that CTA is one of the most difficult years of your student career as a chartered accountant. Now to add that and work, it's just, it becomes more stressful. So now you turn into that person who's um 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 who's just always anxious. You don't know whether you should work at this time. You don't know whether you should be focusing on your studies at this time. You are too tired. You've been working overtime. You've been working 12-hour shifts. It's just stressful. And I think unless you are in the workforce and unless you are working, you probably will not understand what I'm talking about. You probably will not understand the pressure that comes with articles, guys. So take it from me, I didn't go through it, but I know people who have gone through it, and it decreases your chances of performing well in your CTA, because if your day is occupied by work, you have less time for your studies, unless if you really 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 push that 4 hours after 8 o'clock when you get home. But it really does take away from your study time, and the more it takes away, the less time you have to practice in your efforts, the less time you have to practice in your questions, your past papers, and it decreases the chances of you actually making it out. So I know people who have done the studying and the working, who were successful first time. Listen, I'm not saying you will not be successful. I'm saying be mindful of the added pressure of you doing your articles and you studying, right? I'm not saying you cannot make it out. I'm just saying it becomes more difficult to balance the two. So there are people who have done it and they have made it the first time around, and that's great. And there are people who have done it, and I promise you are still doing it. 3 years down the line, they're still doing CTA. And I'm not saying they're not giving it enough. I'm not saying they should have made another or a better decision. I'm just saying, for you right now, if you have the choice, if you have the resources to continue to study and not have to work. Listen, some people just, they just cannot study. They just need a way to pay for their fees. If that is you, listen, I'm not discouraging your hustle. It is great, you need to work and you need to study, because at the end of the day your fees need to be paid for. But I'm talking to someone who has a choice, guys. Someone who has a bursary, whose fees can be paid, who's not taking care of their siblings or their parents at home. Someone who just has the choice, who can study full time and not have to work. This is really for you. So I don't know if I come across as condemning or judging or being judgmental, but I think this is very important. I almost fell into that trap, and I thank God that I actually realized this before I went in. And maybe I didn't realize it as much as I do now, because now I know what being doing your articles mean, right? Then I didn't know. I just thought, yeah, I'll go to work from 8 to 5. I'll come back. I'll have a 2 hour chill session, just relax, and then after that I'll study. But you don't think about, what if you knock off at 10 p.m.? What if you knock off at 3 a.m. in the morning? What if it's busy season? The whole 3 months you've been working overtime, Monday to Sunday. You don't think about those things when you're still there. So I just wanted to caution everybody about the dangers of falling into that trap. Do not find yourself in that situation if you do have a choice. Just be mindful of it, and don't make decisions when you're freshly disappointed. Like, failing CTA is very, it's very emotional, it's very disappointing, and we tend to make rash decisions when we're sad and when we're angry. So just give it time. A lot of CTA results come out November, December. Give yourself the whole of December, give yourself a whole of January to just take it in. See why did you fail because of the university, or did you fail because it was just you? you need to reflect, because if you're failing because it's just you going to another university is not going to solve a you problem, because you're taking yourself with you. So you need to be very mindful of those things. I don't want this video to be any longer than it already is. So if you guys liked this video and you think this could be very helpful for somebody out there, please give it a like and share this video with your friends who are doing CTA, who have failed CTA, who have faced this decision. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my social media pages. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.